Hey, oh, hold on. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I mean, good afternoon, good afternoon. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Good. Let me do this again. Good afternoon. Welcome to my secondary channel, the number one grinder, real talk, your truth, the number one grinder. We got one right here. It's a very serious one. Disability in our community is the time to deal with it. Yes, disabilities in our community. Now is the time to deal with it. So read this off. Just remember us, just remember us as the righteous ones. We are still winners. That's the real number one grinder. All right? We still winners. Um, uh, hit y'all with this intro. Um, and I'll be right back.
Sometimes people don't know how much hard work you put in. But when it comes time to battle, you must think about each and every day that you put that hard work in.
What happened? Why don't you play anymore?
Brian Banks was 16 years old when he was accused of a crime he did not commit.
Working on some technical difficulties. Hold on for 1 second. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Welcome, George. How you feel? How you feel? How you feel?
I'm all right, bro. How about yourself?
I'm all right. I have to work on some things here, but we got it straightened out here. Sorry for the diff. Sorry for the delay and stuff. Um, what we gonna do? Um, before I read the articles out, we're gonna discuss about it. Tell people about what you go through.
Well, like I said, I go through hardships. Like I said,
Mhm.
I have a pacemaker, which is it monitors my heart, and also I'm going through arthritis in my knees, and I'm not that active. I what I do is like I try to do little stuff. I eat a little healthier now. I try to do some exercises. I try to move myself around. I try to keep busy because the thing is, when you have disability, you don't have much to do. Your money don't last that long. You get first of the month, you gotta pay rent, light, this, groceries, this and that, this and that. And I'm blessed that I had some good luck. It's my state of North Carolina. They've been giving us assistance because of what's going on with the virus, and that helps out a bit here and there.
Mhm.
Like I said, if I it was like I said here, you're it's based on income, you know,
Mhm.
and in one point I was getting about I think about $16 in EPT food stamps. And then because now I'm like I said, me and my mom used to share the rent in the house and all those responsibilities. Now it's on me. Then they bumped me up to $22.
Wow.
That's but because of what happened with the pandemic, our states has given us assistance with food stamps, gives extra. So that I don't have to pull too much of my money, but still I have to pay the light and the rent. And also I because I have cable, so I can be able to do my Wi-Fi and stuff like that. And that's one thing also. And like I said, go to my. I got to this weekend. This week I got to go to my orthopedics to get shots in my knees for my arthritis. They one point also because of years of me working and all that stuff, there's issues on my right shoulder where they talk about doing surgery. I want to propose that for a little while because that is serious. That surgery. Maybe I push it to next year. I was. It really it's a pain sometimes. And
Mhm.
as part of me said, I wish I took myself better when I was younger. But like a lot of people, when you're young, you don't think about these things. And with me, it's genetic. I'm predisposed because genetics.
Mhm.
Because of my mother, she had diabetes. My father had heart issues, blood pressure, all that stuff. It's just genetics is a factor in this when you get a disability. And and I remember I was working, and then when I had my first heart attack,
Mhm.
I didn't think it was a heart attack. I thought I was just getting sick. I thought it was because I worked in the cold department in a meat packing plant, and I thought it was just maybe it's kind of the cold or something like that. So I go see my she's my second oldest sister. She lives in Fayetteville, which is just a hop skip jump where I was working at, and she worked for the health department. She worked for the health department over there. So she told me go to the hospital. So I go to urgent care. I get checked out, and they tell me, Mr. McCarthy, something wrong with you. There's something serious. We have to send you to another hospital. We have to send you to a hospital right away. So they get a ambulance, put me on the gurney, and I go to Cape Fear Valley. You know that if you're in the North Carolina area, you know what Cape Fear Valley is. It's one of the biggest hospitals around the area. There's a hospital here in my county, Robinson County, which is southeastern. But if you I think Cape Fear Valley probably is a better hospital. Next to UNC in Chapel Hill, and that's when I
Mhm.
got my. After I did my week, I went back to work for a while. Then I was seeing specialists in Fayetteville. Then I had to go see another specialist in Cape Fear Valley, and then they pronounced that I need to get my surgery. No more than 2 weeks after that, I had got my surgery for my pacemaker. I was out of work for about a while. Went back to work. Then I decided that I'm working my butt off here. My family told me go ahead and apply for your disability, and I did. And after I quit, I applied for my disability, and it took some time, and then I just had to do a lot of stuff, a lot of jumping hoops. I got a lawyer, and then eventually I got it. That was almost, I think it was like, see, I left my job in 2014, and I didn't get my disability to about the end of 2016.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Now, I'm gonna ask you one more question. Then we're gonna read the articles. Then well, I ain't gonna say as a black. Well, I'm gonna read
As
some
a man, yes,
as a
yeah,
man. We're gonna
as a
read some
man.
articles after that, and then we're gonna get you. And then also I'm gonna show you some pictures. All right. As a man, do you feel there's enough resources for the man that is on disability?
Well, I'm lucky where I get was with this company, UNC, they're a health company, help for insurance help company. They give me some stuff where it helps me out. Like I get it helps out with my because I have Medicaid, Medicare, but this other stuff helps out with things like other resources, but financially wise, not that well. You think about it because
Okay.
you got to think about it. When you work at a job, you might get an opportunity to get a raise every maybe 2 or 3 times in a year, if that many. And with me, disability, you get a raise every once a year, the first of the year. And then, there's always things you might want or need, but you can't get them because, you have to make a choice. You got to pay a bill, I got to feed, or do I want to have a good time? That's the thing because, if when you have a steady job, you have steady income, if something happens like your car breaks down, hey, you get paid, you take it to the shop, you get it fixed, you get paid that week, get it out, you know. But then if you're somebody living on disability, your car breaks down, and depending on how much it costs, you might sit there for maybe till the first of the month. You might have to save some money to the side about doing that. It's just, I think it should be more. I've said this before, where it should be more help for people. And this is what people are going to say, like, oh, people with disabilities, you take more money from the government. Right there. Anybody who has worked a job knows when you look at your check, the government takes out certain things.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, I had a friend of mine, we went to school together. He said, oh, George, you live off of me. No, I'm not living off of you. I'm living off myself.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the military. Technically, he was living off of me. Because as a military person, you are living off taxpayers' money. So, truthfully, he was in the Marine Corps. You're living off of taxpayers' money, which is me. So, this money is for more money I put in for work, and also the government put in because for the time I put in for working. I worked for some jobs that didn't work. I didn't get paid. Well, it was under the table jobs, like a lot of people have. Especially in the early years back in the day when there was, we worked. My family. We were sharecroppers. My father, my grandfather, my great grandfather was a slave. He was born in slavery. Until this was in, and we worked jobs where we got paid. To help out. Stuff like that. But most times if you don't have a regular steady job where you get like tax stuff taken out, that's a struggle. And some people do get like disability, especially those that don't never ever work. Or you just apply. But that's the thing about a country. You're supposed to help your people. Your citizens that pay taxes, they need the help. If the government should do more, like one thing is like, I mentioned this before, when my older sister, she's on disability because she has heart issues. Also, she's in her 60s. She had to retire after a while because issues with her health. Also, she had carpal tunnel in both hands. She couldn't do much like she used to anymore. We talked about how every single person who's on disability, especially the elderly, should get $200 in food stamps assistance. Because think about it, if you get that, what that does will save you some money in your pocket. Because the cost of food costs more when you buy with cash, but food stamps don't get taxed. And that's a good thing about that; they don't get taxed. So that's you think about it. You get somebody $200 a month. They can stock up on the groceries and have a little extra money that lasts until the end of the month.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to show some pictures, and then I think that I got two stories, so I'm not sure I'm gonna read both of them, but this is black men on mental health that we don't talk about. We don't talk about it and stuff. And then what George is really talking, he talked about the financial part, but also the mentally and emotional when you get the resources. Now, I would say this: there's not enough resources to go that when we be on disability, men be on disability, and also mental health and stuff, but all I'm talking about all types of disabilities. It's not enough money to that. It's always been I don't know. It does that means you have to get off scratch. And so that's what I'm saying in this space. Us as men, we gotta advocate for the ones on disability to so they can live a comfortable life. And we have to understand too. Now I know people gonna talk about politics too. And I know people, oh, you need to go. Nah, you could talk about all you want to, but when they close them town doors, it's a totally different story. So we have to really talk about the political aspect. Yeah, I know people gonna say, I got me put politics like that. You could talk to them all day, but when they go in the room, you know, one way or the other, you're not gonna be helped. So whatever resources we have, that it's gonna be disproportionate, and so we have to understand that. Now, as you see, the man that was on mental health, Black woman also is on mental health that needs to talk more in the space. I know y'all bring up, oh, you gonna bring up the men and the women, men and the little boys. Nah, nah, nah. No, 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 no. I'll cover all angles. And this all deals with disability. So you see, she said, so we got to deal with that. Now we got to deal with that. Right here, it's silent, right? You think this person, he's so happy and stuff, right? No, he's silent. You know what I'm saying? He's killing his side. So we gotta look at the signs right there. See? Right. Okay. So what we're gonna do, George, I want you to mute your mic. I'm gonna read an article and then I'm gonna show you the rest of the pictures and then I'm gonna bring you back. All right. So just mute yourself.
Okay, give me a sec.
Right. All right. Now the article is in the chat. The article is in the chat. I want y'all to pay attention. This was from the Atlantic, okay? This is from the Atlantic. It's in the chat. So you just hit it. This is from Atlantic Inheritance. Now, being black and disabled is a constant struggle by Charlene Gappa, photographed by Danielle Boldman. This article was produced on September 21st of last year. And she is Selena Gappa is the co-author of The Power of Trust. So there it goes. When Angel Love Miles arrived at Penn State at 1998, she realized that she was going to have to fight to finish school. To begin with, Miles was low-income black student, and Penn State were mostly white. In addition, she has spinal bifida, a condition that affects spinal development in urethral. In Miles' case, this means she used to crush or in the wheelchair. As a child, she had gone to school for children with disabilities. Her children has accessible playground with wheelchair swings, physical and occupational therapists, and a shop where she could get her wheelchair or crush fixed. Penn State was different. There was a van for students with disabilities, but waiting for often make her late for class. She remembered waiting once for the campus bus. When she asked the driver to lower the wheelchair ramp for her, he said, I don't want you on my bus, and drove away. She pushed for the service she needed, and eventually she finished college and went on to get her doctorate in women's studies. Today, she's a social justice advocate and policy analyst who specializes intersectional and critical disability theory approaches. I became an advocate not because I want to, but because I had no no tools to survive. Miles told me. I was very outspoken at all. If you're trying to get home, the bus keeps passing you up because you in a wheelchair. You have to scream out. Miles' story is emblematic of what it like to be black and disabled in America. Let me say it again. To be black and disabled in America. Every day is a struggle to not get left behind. And they show a picture of her right there. Very inspirational. According to American Community Survey data, 14% of Black Americans have a disability compared of 12.6% of the overall population. 36% of disabled Black Americans live in poverty compared to 26% of all disabled Americans. That is scary. Disabled Black people often have battled too hard to correct diagnose and service. This is especially true for invisible disabilities such as autism, which educators most likely to dismiss as behavior issues in Black children than in white ones. And why let me throw this in. This been going on for decades, and it's still going on sadly. Black people with disabilities are especially like to have issues with police officers who can misinterpret their behavior, such as deaf person who keeps walking when told to stop as a threat. Where law enforcement assumes that black person failure to comply it because of aggressive rather than disability. The conquest could be deadly. Black Americans in generally are 2.5 times as likely as white Americans to be killed by a police officer in this high. You absolutely right on that. And they showed the graphic of fatal police shootings of people showing signs of mental illness. If y'all read with me, y'all know what I'm talking about. None of this, that's surprising. For centuries, white Americans treated black people less than humans, as bodies valued only for the work they could do. Jane Durham, the director of National Black Disability Coalition, told me today black people with disabilities are doubly marginalized by both racism and ableism. While America has ongoing social and racial recons with the me hashtag Me Too and Black Lives Matter movement, that is a joke. We yet see something similar with the disability movement. Many disability activists want wants no change this narrative, but wonder why it's talking so long. What does this failure say about our society? And I'm gonna proofread this or some and stuff. And talks about disability rights movement was modeled at the civil rights movement. As you know, back in institutional ever come put displayed at the circus, like the circus, they said in 1940s and 50s, disability and World War II veterans pressured the government to provide service such as vocational training and rehabilitation. In the 1960s and 70s, activists fought for disability children to be included in schools instead of regulate to institutions by us and lobbied the government to make public space to accessible with measures such as ramp and curbs on sidewalks. In 1973, Congress passed the Rehabilitation Act, Section 504, mandated equal opportunities for employment and prohibited discrimination against the disability, even entries that receive federal. Some of the language of the law came straight from the civil rights movement, and that it also is a joke. I know. What I'm talking about, and I will explain that in a few. But for years, it wasn't enforced. Like I said, in 1977, disability rights activists staged protests across the country, pushed the government to act, including the fourth week sitting down San Francisco office of the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. Kidney Cone, one of the organizers of the sit-ins, wrote, "We felt ourselves of descendants of the civil rights movement." She describes how disability activists drew inspiration from the civil rights movement sit-ins, even sang freedom songs to keep their spirits through the process. And I say it again, it didn't really stretch out to us as Black people. That I will explain my story in a few minutes. The Black Panthers had an effort led the group member Brad Lawmass had multiple sclerosis, brought meals and other supplies to the protest. Lawmass was part of the delegation to Washington, D.C. that pressured government to write regulation laid out what constitution discrimination instead of leaving interpretation of Section 504 up to judges. 15 years later, the landmark Americans with Disability as broadened broadened these reforms to include complaints, compliance in private institutions and workplace. But even today, many spaces remain inaccessible, and Black people with disabilities face many subdued kind of inclusion. Yeah. Leroy E. Moore Jr., a Black activist with cerebral palsy, told me it is isolated to be Black and disabled. Many in the Black community don't understand what it's like to have a disability. He spent most of his career in the non-profit world where his mostly white coworkers didn't understand the spirits of being Black in America, was caught between two worlds, he told me. As a result of the experience, Moses helped found the disability justice movement in the 2000s, Whereas previous disability activists forced on gaining rights, disabled justice take into account how identifying race, ethnic, gender, class, and sexual orientation affect a disability person experience and how ableism, if it intertwines with other systems of oppression. This approach is crucial, Moore told me, because race played an enormous and still underappreciated role in the experience of the disabled person who is a member of another minority group. Black people with disability often struggle more than white peers, wherever it gets a diagnosis or service, or to simply be an individual. Austin Hayes is a 24-year-old operating operating room nurse at Penn Medical who struggled for years with with I diagnosed ADHD. Haynes is Black and attended a primary white school in New Jersey. He always had feeling that something was different. He has trouble to concentrate, study felt harder than it should. And I mean, I'm sorry, it had to read things multiple times. He told me, when someone make a noise, I would it would be completely gone. He graduated from high school with a 2.5 GPA. Yes. When he was a sophomore in college, Haynes read about ADHD and realized that he might have it himself. He finally got the diagnosis, a prescription for for Adderall, and studied strategically, which helped him focus and raise his grades. He graduated from college and enrolled in a nursing program, graduating with high with a 3.4 GPA, family. Sometimes he wondered why getting help took so long, why I have no excel in school, even I knew I was smart enough. I knew I had the capability to do so much better, and I think race had a huge role in not being diagnosed properly. And they showed a picture. 24-year-old black with autism be stopped by police, and his lack of eye contact would be perceived as a threat. Matter of fact, I showed that picture before. All right. So systematic racism and ableism don't result in denied service or poor outcome. Javon Octale, a 24-year-old black man with autism, worried about one day he would be stopped by a police officer of lack of eyes contact would be perceived as a threat. Alcalde, who graduated from Tufts University in 2019 with a degree in English and African Studies, worked now as a fellow focused on race and disability for the nonprofit group Massachusetts Advocate for Children, carry an autism ID card in his wallet, but isn't sure that will offer any protection. If they were to pull me out in a panic, police officer might think I'm reaching for a weapon, he told me. Akade, Akade hopes that if the cops even stop him, they will give him a chance to explain his diagnosis. All right. So some black disability activists I spoke limited the movement failures to understand how identify particularly race, complex disability, racism, and ableism are similar in the same sense that they voice society limitations in imaginary and empathy onto individuals who don't look or act like everyone else. Keith Jones, a black activist with Sarah Posey, drove home this point. Am I the problem or is society's the problem? All right, George. Let me see, sir. Oh, George said he'd be back. So, but get back to the story. We still got ways to go. Oh yes, our brothers and sisters that the ones that's on disability, right? You're still discriminated. It's still about race. There are some people that are ahead of some disability. Oh, okay. You're back. Okay.
Yeah, I just got back.
Oh, did you heard some of the story?
I did heard the story about the guy who, the girl in the wheelchair and her difficulties. The guy, and how the police. And let's say also we got mad with the police. This is what people want to do. They want to have people who have more dealings with the people with issues such as those who have Down syndrome, or people who are deaf, or some people who are going to schizophrenia. There's been situations where police have killed people because they thought they were just because of just simple things like that. Because the problem is the police are not properly trained. You can, like I said, you can study to be esthetician or massage therapist. It takes you almost 2 years to get your certification. But a police officer, you have to go to school for about maybe 6 months, I think what it is. And you don't really, where in some countries where you like, I think in Sweden, I think so in the Netherlands, you spend a year or more. You study psychology, you study crowd control, you study everything that helps with you dealing with people. But our police here are just taught to shoot, fight, and that's about it. And then also, I was watching this thing how it said again, Black people, we're the ones who will, if something happens, we have mental issues, we're not going to go to like a institution where we get help. Let's send us to jail, where that's not a better place, because the fact is, that's a bad place to put anybody who's going to get schizophrenia, who's bipolar, who's has any kind of mental condition. You don't want to put them with a bunch of people who are, just they take advantage of them. They because just there's a lot of stuff that could be done. The system can be fixed. The system is broken, but problem is that as long as it doesn't affect the 50% of the country, which is mostly people who are white, wealthy, who live on the higher end of that, it doesn't matter to them. But then if it affects them, then hey, watch you can see a big turnout all of a sudden. I know a guy, his name is Bobby. We worked together for a long time. Bobby, he has Down syndrome. He's a little slow, but he has a beautiful heart. He's a great guy. He's been working the same place we used to work at for a little over 20 years. He was working there before I got there. He's still there today. And and he still works, and just he has a brother who also has that same kind of meds, but his brother's kind of like he has issues. He can't really hold a job. He has to be, when their mother passed away, he was put into a home because Bobby said he wanted to take care of his brother Billy. I said, nah, you can't, you can't, because the fact is the people can't, because you know what, knowing Billy, he's a handful, and you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah,
it's all dependent on the person. If your person is willing to want to work and want to do everything else to put it in, you can do it. But sometimes some people just don't. They just they just don't.
Yeah, and let me go more. And everybody that's in the chat, I appreciate your comment. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And this goes to show that this government still discriminate Black people that is on disability, and I'm just not just some, but all kinds of disability. And so that's why it's one of the reasons that when you see some people in some communities that get more than others, that has been planned for a very long time, strategically, legislation. So again, if anybody said, I deal with politics and stuff like that, when they close them doors, it's a different animal. It's a different animal. That's why it's so important, y'all, that we gotta talk about this. And I know it feels uncomfortable outside the space and even inside the space too. So that's why the Black man or the Black woman, we have to support. We have to support this. What's going on? I want you to look at this man before I go to the next article. Right? Oh, George, you can mute your mic. I'm gonna tell you how to.
Okay.
All right, you see this man, he's depressed, right? They look at him, look at him, he don't look depressed, but he is depressed. See, look at that. I want you to look at real good. This is what we dealing with. See, this is the resources that we need to help the men. You hear what I'm saying? Why do you think I always be stressing that us as men, we need to take care of each other, that we need to look out for each other? Because you don't know. He probably in this he probably thinks he think his value is not considerate, not there. See, this is what we go to. This is what we go to. Another picture. Look at that. They think, look at God. Look at it. He got help. He got some help. But Black man, look at that. He got help, right? But he still got to go through certain things. You don't know how hard he has to fight to get the resources. It's still as a Black man, we still got to fight hard to get the resources that we have. Because the resources not there. In other communities, it's there because they want us to fail. And I know it's hard to say it, but they want us to fail. That means we have to critique. That means we have to develop our own resources and make sure that they live a productive life too. All right? Before I want you to go to the article said think, because I'm gonna read that article next. Another picture, Black man, happy, right? Look at that. On disability. See that? They don't want to talk about that, but seems like he got that help. The necessary help he go. But trust me, it's a struggle. All right? Young black man, depressed. Look at that. I will hold that right in. I want you to look at it real good. Take a look at it real good. And why do you think this? That's why number one Grinda, I fight for our young black boys. See, I want you to take a look real good. Take a look at it real good. At times, he probably most likely got violated by a woman. I said it, yes, it's true. Probably told the parents, and they didn't believe him. Probably told the school system didn't believe him. Society did not believe him. Law enforcement harassment. Abandonment. Look at it, fam. I want you to look at it. Look at it. He probably said, ain't nothing to live for. Take a look at it. Young lady, young girl, on wheelchair, disability. Most likely the parents have to fight hard. But at a certain time, she is not getting the help that she should, that other communities is. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. I want you to share this out. Look at that. Beautiful black woman, right? Depressed. Look at it. Look at it. Black woman, you need to talk more about this too. Look at it. Look at it. She don't get the necessary help that she should. But all this thing, they get the help. No, we don't get the help that we should. Look at it. Look at it. See, when I'm talking about people with disability in our community, we gotta make sure they're part of the family. Look at it. Because it can happen to you, it can happen to anybody in the family. While other communities getting the help while they on disability, we are getting crumbs. They have sanctioned some of on disability to fail. I'm telling you from personal experience when I was in special ed. Look at it. Look at it. Black woman, press. Look at that. Look at that. Probably deal with a breakup. Probably she lost her job, overqualified, she can't find a job. It could be many things. Where's the help? Go through it one more time. Depressed. Silent in. Depressed. Our older people on disability, yeah, he's happy, but you don't know how hard he had to fight. He get a little help here and there. No one on disability. Oh, ain't no such thing black people on disability. 26% in this country is on disability. 12% is black, us as a people. 12%. Little young black man, depressed. Look at it. Look at it. Young girl on disability. Look at it. I want it ingrained in your minds, in the chat, and even the ones in the clouds. This was the number one grind to talk about for years, and other issues. Look at it. Look at it. Our black woman, depressed. Press. Ain't no such thing, black us as a people on disability. Yeah, okay. Where's the money at? Where the programs at? Who else gonna advocate for us? And the ones that advocate for us, where's they help at? No, Lonzo, I disagree with that. No, I disagree with that. I can put it like this: there are some, but we have to understand the system. And I know that a lot of y'all in this space do not like talk about. Oh, you want to blame the system every time? We want to blame the system. No, I'm not going to blame us all of it either. There is a system that want us to fail. And the ones that keep on fighting for the disability, they are getting shafted. Now, if you say in this space, oh yeah, you can say in this space, yeah, but we gotta fight hard. We gotta have empathy, and the quite few in this space do not have empathy. But as a whole, no. So I'm gonna read the last article, and then we're gonna bring Brother George back. And please hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. And the article is in the chat. It's Think. It says why Black History Month needs to feature the stories of the disability. We should honor the legacies of disability Black history makers to stand up to the double-headed monster, ableism and racism. For the far-left actor and civil rights movement, Harry Belafonte, Academy Award winner Halle Berry, and agriculture scientist and inventor George Washington Carver. This article was printed February 28th last year at 4:30 p.m. It's by Ole Olawami, founder of Project ASCEND. When I was growing up, like I said, the article is in the chat. All you do, just hit it. Just hit it. It's right there. When I was growing up, I lived in the community of me. I was the only other child with a disability that I knew. I never met an adult with a disability. There were no prominent people with disabilities on television or in books that I could see. The most I knew about disability people history was a small sector of my 11th grade U.S. history course about the passions of the American with Disabilities Act in 1990. Yeah, I know about that one. Fraud. So as I was going, this landmark legislation ensured that people with disability has protection against. I don't know why they scratch the word. Well, they describe discriminatory. Okay. Black history and disabled history are intertwined. The disabled rights movement took clues from the civil rights movement. According to the version of American history I was taught in public education system, it as do people with disabilities didn't make any significant contributions to our society. The same was largely true for African Americans, a major difference being that used February to commemorate Black History Month and celebrate African Americans' contributions in American history. When you combine race with disability, physical as well as cognitive, it's render the Black disability experience as one as erasure. In a sense, to be Black and disabled in America is to be invisible. Yet, when you look at Black history, there is an undeniable link to, to disability. Some of our greatest Black heroes and heroines has been disabled. Get this off. Okay. To name just a few, Academy Award winner Halle Berry had diabetes and 80% of hearing loss in one ear. Actor and civil rights activist Harry Potter had dyslexia. Agricultural scientist and inventor George Washington Carver had breathing disabilities and health issues stemming from a bout with whooping cough. It's hard. Black Americans are stranded in mental health deserts. Hear what that means. It's hard enough being Black in America. To add another marginalized identified paved the way for additional hardships. So Black people may be hesitant to identify as disabled for fear of further discrimination based on that identity. This is why we should honor the legacy of disabled Black history makers as it means to stand up against this double-headed monster of apatheism and racism that leaves us ashamed of our identities. Wow. Disability rights activist Anita Cameron believed that inherent number of African Americans' history may have disabilities, but that the social stigma around disability is so persuasive. Numbers Black icons had chosen not to highlight or even conceal their disabilities out of shame. And they show Martin Luther King talking 1963. The late great Martin Luther King, I'm sorry. Our numbers may be even higher, but due to apathy and stigma around disability, include fear of discrimination, many Black people don't want to admit they are disabled, she said. One of the biggest historical icons, the abolitionists of women's rights activist Sojourner Truth, have a disabled right hand, but she often negates that fact, appearing in pictures holding knife and needles. For instance, she suggests that she was able to use it, so she wouldn't appear as weak. As a slave, Truth Master Italy promised her and her daughter freedom, but state her right hand reduced her productivity. Indeed, Black history and disabled history are interviewed. The disabled right movement took clues from the right movement and implemented some of the same methods of peaceful protest to fight for equal rights. During the pivotal 504 protesters were disabled. Get this off. Where disabled activists in the 1970s held a 25-day sit, occupied federal buildings. The Black Panther Party provided hot meals and assistance to the protesters. Oh, they said Black Panthers ain't did nothing. How about that? Yeah, you can't trust them. You can't trust them. We want to hear you think. Please submit a letter to the editor. Um, Disable affect the lives of achievement of many of these black icons. Many come into spite of their disability, but partially because of them have a disability shape you into the person you are, the one who destined be. Sarah Palin lost a case that she would have lost. It might not always be that way. Mayor Angelo, for example, didn't speak for 5 years as a result of disability, said selected mutism. This undoubtedly influenced her poetry capacity, ability to inspire people with her written words. Feminist writer Audre, Audrey Lorde was legally blind and disabled due to cancer. She wrote the Cancer Journals, detail her struggles with cancer and how it influenced her advocacy as a feminist and lesbian. We should do more to ensure that history recognizes the influence of disabled history makers, such as I understand, but they said Black history. Why are we reading about other people? You see how slick they is, y'all? They always want to. Every time when they come out history, we can never have time for our own history, but for others and stuff. That's what I don't like. Well, anyway, let's just go on. We should do more to ensure the history recognizes the influence of disabled history makers. Since our society failed to do enough to acknowledge but community significant contributors, it is up to us to amplify Black disabilities and both groups' historic stories. After all, Black history is disabled history. And we read the last one. These disabilities is often celebrated to discuss its impact. We could challenge the notion that disability is a negative identity hidden from all cause, and its impact of this disabled African Americans should no longer be denied or swept under the rug. It should be commemorated and honored as part of the larger tapestry of American history. That would be the day. As we observe Black History Month, let's explore all faces. Let me see. Let's see. Hold on, fam. Let me see. Okay. Or let's explore all faces of who we are and the greatness that lies within people with disabilities. All right, brother George, you can unmute your mic. You can unmute your mic if you're around. So let's read this from Brother Alonzo Hall. He said, my uncle, who was legally blind in one eye, has HIV and diabetes. Took 4 years for them to decide to give him a disability hearing to see if he qualifies. His wife's friend got it day one. So yes, system. Oh yes, yes. You're right. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. They can say all they want to. They had people waited, and they actually turned their claims down. Talking about, oh, they don't have no disability, and they call the doctors, they call the lawyers, they call the therapists. Yeah, and then they all in cahoots with each other because, like I said, they want us to fail. Yes, Alonso, you are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely. But I could say this though, that they are throughout the years, they do seem to help black women a little more than the black men. So they had a little more resources that they was before. But we still always on the uphill climb, and it's not just picking on black women. I'm just telling about the system, all right? So I show you the pictures of every disability, and also too, I know when people say they have disability in the space, there are some people make fun at them. You shouldn't do that. That's wrong. They make a point or you disagree. Oh, that's why you on disability. No, that's not good. No. Because you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that. And so we're going to wait for George to come back. And yeah, but welcome to my secondary channel. Oh, there he is. All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot of difficulties for people on disabilities, and especially some people if they have a real disability. And what they do is they penalize people who really need help because the sins of the people who like lie and fake. And they always say, "Oh, you faking, you're faking." But it's always that old saying. They go by the men get punished for the deeds of the misdeeds of the few. Remember back in the day, Ronald Reagan, he used this lady who called her a welfare cheat. But the fact was she wasn't, because she was black. She was high yellow, but she was black. But truthfully, she was just a con woman. She was con the system. There's people who actually can use assistance and help. But, because of the, what people have done in the past, you get punished for it. And then they always put it as black people. But white people still makes the majority of the community of this country. And they're the ones, there's more people on white people on welfare, more white people on disabilities, and just put in black people because, always we're the ones who get blamed for a lot of stuff. As you saw Joe Rogan, his whole thing, and saying the N-word over and over again. But then Whoopi Goldberg made comments about the Holocaust. Now, Joe Rogan right now is they deleted some of his podcasts, but he's still on the air. And Whoopi Goldberg is suspended because all she did was have a conversation with some people and gave her thoughts and opinion. That wasn't racist. It was just give your opinion of a situation that happened, and it's just a lot of, it's like that. Anything in which people are going to hardships through, or people say, "Oh, my hardship is worse than yours." Here's the thing: is try to be black. Chris Rock said this. One of my favorite comedians, Chris Rock. He said that he's it's hard for being black. He's rich, and he said no white person would want to be me, even though I'm rich.
I'm going through the pictures again, y'all. Matter of fact, let me start from the beginning. Then I'm gonna ask you, George, make your last remark, then we're gonna close it. I want y'all to take a look at these pictures again. Depressed. Black man. Black woman. Depressed. Depressed in silence. Depressed. Black man and black woman that's on disability. You see that? Yeah, he's smiling at him. He get a little help, but look how hard he have to fight for that. Black man will. Disability. Ain't no such thing. Yeah. Young black boy, right there. Depressed. Where's the help at? Tell me, talk to me, y'all. Where's the help? Where's the help? A black girl. Born with disability, wheelchair. See that? Oh, there's no such thing. Okay. Disability, depressed. Oh, depressed ain't, oh no, disability. Okay. Whatever you say. That. And before I go to the next thing, the ones that fought in this country in the service, they go through a lot of disabilities too. So we cannot leave them out either. Black men or black women. They in our midst. So matter of fact, brother BMT, he talked about that too. See? So salute to the ones who salute to y'all too. All right? Look at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right there. Look at that. Mm-hmm. And now there are some that they could, if they have health problems, like George is saying, you can get it done. Yeah, you have temporary disabilities, lose weight and stuff like that to get yourself together. Yeah, but these are eternal. These are emotional. These are mental that we don't like to talk about. And the money is not coming in our community. This really ain't. And we have to understand that. So we have to advocate for more. We have to do a lot more. We have to do a lot more. We have to educate ourselves a whole lot more. Because if not, we still gonna be in the same. We be in the same rut, family, and it's real, real sad. All right, brother George. Last remarks, please.
Well, folks, I'm telling you like this: if you know somebody who needs some help, give them the help. If you knows where the system can help them, also people dealing with depression, don't be afraid to ask help. Sometimes it's better to get help from somebody who knows how to deal with it. Some people tell you, "Hey, just smile and just be integrated," but we can't do that, especially our community. Black people, we don't think mental health issues is in our community, but it is. That's the one thing we got to realize: we're human too. We're no different from white people. The only difference from us and from other races is our color, but we're still humans. And humans go through mental and physical issues. So if you feel like you're going through a hard time, if you have like I said, if you have something that keeps you from not being able to do the things you can do physically and mentally, get the help. Don't be afraid. Sometimes you have to swallow your pride a little bit. Once you do that, everything will be better at the end.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's your last remark.
That's all I got in my mind, brother.
Okay, gotcha. I got you. Okay, I want to thank y'all so much for coming in. Oh, we got 20 likes, bro. Got 20 likes. Thank you. This is the last of yeah. Disability in our community. Now is the time to deal with it. I wasn't expecting that, but that's good. That's good. At least a start. That's a start. That's a start. But we gotta continue to keep this conversation consistently. Okay. Again, this disability in our community. Now is the time to deal with it. Now it's time to deal with it. I would say this that I hope that the information that I present to y'all in the chat, that y'all take it around and have discussions of it. It's very, very, very important because they trying to exclude us for the money of help. I want y'all to understand that legislation too, and also I'm thinking about coming back tonight. I don't know yet. It really depends, but I'm just saying that let's do a better job to advocate for the ones who's on disability in our community. Let's take care of them. Let them know that they can live a productive life. They can have productive relationships. You know, hey, what's up? Like, what's up, Amanda? They can have productive lives. They can have productive relationships, productive family relationships. Let them so they can have. And also, they can be in productive conversation too. That is very, very important. On behalf of my channel, my secondary channel, the number one grind of real talk. Like I said, Unique Dawn, honey, what's up, so sweetie? When it's finished uploading, the articles that I read is in the chat. I want you to go. I want you to go check it out. Yes, please hit the like button. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. I want you to go check out the articles and read up and have discussions of it. Don't be afraid to bring it up because if we're gonna rely on this society, they're not gonna do it. So we on our own. We on our own on that. So if you know anybody in your family that is on disability level, so they going through hell, no matter mentally, emotionally, and physically, and just love them. But the ones on disability too, understand this: if they offer you to help you, accept that. Accept that. If they got the resources to help you, help you. Don't turn it back because if you turn it back, that means you putting yourself farther back. All right. So on behalf of my channel, my secondary channel, the number one grinder real talk. Thanks for everybody for coming in. And it's posted on Facebook. Jerry Thomas also posted on my IG, Jerry5465. Okay, so until next time. Oh yeah, I forgot. If anybody that's trapped, that anybody that is traveling um to your destination or home, make sure you take extra safety precautions to protect yourselves. That means if you are single, or you or you with your significant one, or you with your loved one, or loved one. With your family member, or associates, friends, wherever. Um, do that, all right? Because the climate out there is real, and we don't want nothing to happen to you. Well, this is the last of it, last of disability in our community. Now is the time. This one is Ghost. All I can say, stay blessed, stay blessed, stay blessed. Peace.
Alrighty.